Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am on the floor. This was just the easiest place for me to set up my camera since I don't have a tripod right now. Today's video is going to be how I grew my glutes and mistakes which I've made on my fitness journey. I grew my glutes from this to this. So I've been training for quite a few years now. So yeah, I've gained over 15 kilos between these pictures, and that has been done through what is called a calorie surplus. So if you want to grow, like for instance, your glutes or grow anything, you need to be in a calorie surplus. A calorie surplus means you are consuming more calories than you burn. My foot's going numb. I'm not even kidding, my foot is actually going numb. Sorry. So if you want to grow your glutes, you want to be in a calorie surplus. This means that you are consuming more calories than you burn. So this is a mistake which I made when I first started training. So in the UK, the government recommends that every person has 2,000 calories that is a female. Obviously, I thought, okay, look, this is recommended. I'm going to have a bit above that and I will gain weight. That was not the case. Every person is different. Some people, they will maintain weight with lower calories than that, whereas others may need more calories than that. It just all depends on you, your build, your activity levels. Like, I'm a pretty active person. I exercise every day. I walk almost everywhere. And I am 5'9", so my energy expenditure is fairly high. Every person is different. So every person's calorie intake should be different if they want to gain weight or to lose weight. So in a calorie surplus, you typically consume maybe 200, 300, 400 calories above your maintenance level in order to gain weight. And as well as this, protein is really important in growing your glutes. It is increasingly important to have enough protein in your diet. So for someone who works out, that is recommended at 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I'm sitting at about 145 pounds right now. So I have about 145 to 150 grams of protein a day because that is what is recommended for building muscle, and that has worked for me. So yeah, if you want to grow, you need to be having a calorie surplus and you need to be consuming enough protein in your diet. In terms of supplements, I don't use any supplements. I don't find that they have any benefit to my physique and my training. So I don't use any supplements such as BCAAs, but I do consume whey protein since sometimes I find it hard to consume enough protein purely through food. The type of exercises performed are also increasingly important on the outcome of your physique. So let's say your diet is on point, you're in a calorie surplus, you are consuming enough protein. What else is important is the type of exercises in which you do. So what you want to be doing is progressively overloading your exercises, most importantly, compound exercises. So we have compound exercises and isolation exercises. One mistake which I made when I first started was doing too many isolation exercises. So compound exercises are exercises which typically utilize a lot of muscles at once. So with compound exercises, you can typically lift more weight with them as well. So this includes exercises such as squats, deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, leg press, hip thrusts, things like that. Whereas isolation exercises, as the name suggests, isolate a certain muscle. So in terms of glute growth, isolation exercises are typically pull-throughs, kickbacks, abductions, which are great exercises to do when programmed correctly. So I still do many of these isolations. However, I make sure I perform my compound exercises first before going on to these isolations. So with all of these exercises, you want to be progressively overloading them in order to either add more weight, sets, or reps over time. So for instance, let's say one day you do 60 kilos for 10 reps, and then a week later, or even the next session, you can do 11 or 12 reps. That is progressive overload. As well as that, you could either go up to 62.5 kilos, or you could add an extra set. Let's say you did 3 sets, the next time you do 4 sets. And as well as that, you could also cut down your rest breaks. So let's say your rest break was 2 minutes, and then another time you perform the same weight, the same sets, the same exercise, but you cut your rest break down by 30 seconds. That's still progressive overload. For the main part, just focus on increasing sets, reps, and weight. Another thing which is increasingly important when performing isolation exercises is your mind to muscle connection. So if you're not feeling these exercises in the muscles which you want to work, you're either 1, doing the wrong exercise, or 2, the weight could be too heavy, meaning you're utilizing other muscles instead of the muscle which you want to work. So you want these to be slow and controlled so that you really feel the muscle which you want to work and to grow working over the other muscles. Another thing which I thought I'd talk about is glute activation. So I feel like with glute activation, there is a fine line between activating your glutes and pre-fatiguing them before you actually work out. So for me, when I do start with like my compound lifts, I have no issue feeling my glutes working. So for me, I don't really perform any glute activation since I don't have an issue feeling them working. So what you don't want to do is pre-fatigue your glutes too much, but if you can't feel them working when you perform exercises such as hip thrusts, squats, deadlifts, and leg press, I would say perform a few sets of glute activation just so it's easier to feel that mind muscle connection when performing the exercises. So for instance, I'd say if you don't feel glutes working in exercises such as hip thrusts, leg press, deadlifts, then I would say perform some glute activation until you can feel them working. But past that, you've already got your compound lifts, you've already got your isolation. You don't need anything more than that. You don't want to pre-fatigue your glutes to the extent where it's already fatigued and your other muscles end up taking over. So as well as all of that, you want to be consistent. You want to be consistent with your calorie intake. You want to be consistent with your protein intake. You want to be consistent with your workouts and your exercises. You want to be consistent with everything. So you want to aim to be as consistent as you can. So when I first started training, I didn't track my calories, I didn't track my protein intake, I didn't even track my workouts. I just ate when I felt like it. I just went to the gym, and then who knows when I come back. It could be a couple days, it could be a few weeks. Like, that was not structured and that was not consistent. Whereas now I have a full plan which I follow. I consistently track my calories and my protein intake to ensure that I'm reaching my goals. Since I have done that, I have noticed far more progress, which was at a much faster rate than when I had no consistency. Being as consistent as you can is really, really important, especially if you want to grow your glutes. As well as that, you want to have a program that is structured. You want the exercises and your plan to have a goal at the end. You don't just want to be doing random exercises, changing it up every week. You need a plan which leads you to something. So obviously when I first started, I had no plan. I just went in, did some exercises, didn't track it, didn't do anything. So right now I have my plan. So on that plan, on each exercise, I write down the weight I lifted, my rest times, how hard it was, and then I keep doing that so I can see my progress over time. I can see how much more I have improved since I started my program each time. And that is really important since if you don't have a goal, if you don't have any structure, it's going to be very hard to achieve what you want to achieve. So overall, to grow your glutes, you need to be in a calorie surplus, you need to be consuming enough protein, you need to be performing the right exercises, compounds and then isolations, ensuring mind-muscle connection throughout. These exercises you want to be progressively overloading by adding more weight, sets and reps over time. And you need to be as consistent as you can. So as I said, I will link down a calorie calculator down below. If anyone has any questions, feel free to comment anything, I will answer it. I'll link my Instagram down below as well. And yeah, I hope this video helps someone because when I first started, I wasted so much time not knowing what to do, how to do it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. Bye!